What really happened during the American Civil War? Our journey begins in the year 1860, a time of anticipation and uncertainty. November 6th sees the election of Abraham Lincoln, a man whose name would forever be etched in the annals of history. Lincoln, a staunch opponent of the expansion of slavery, becomes the first Republican president. His victory, however, is met with disdain in the southern states, leading to a chain of events that would forever change the course of American history. Following Lincoln's election, 7 southern states, feeling threatened by his anti-slavery stance, take the drastic step of seceding from the Union. South Carolina is the first to leave in December, followed by Mississippi, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, and Texas. These states band together to form the Confederate States of America, marking the beginning of a divide that would soon evolve into a full-blown war. The tension escalates, and on April 12, 1861, the situation reaches a boiling point. The Confederates, under the command of General P.G.T. Beauregard, launch an attack on Fort Sumter, a Union stronghold in South Carolina. It's the first battle of the Civil War, a conflict that would last 4 long, grueling years. Yet, as we delve deeper into this period of tumult and turmoil, we must ask ourselves a question. What sparked the flames of this war? Was it just about slavery, or were there other factors at play? Could it have been the economic and cultural differences between the North and the South? Or perhaps it was the struggle for power and control over the federal government. The reasons are manifold, complex, and interwoven, much like the fabric of the nation itself. The events leading up to the Civil War are not just a series of dates and battles, but a testament to the power of ideas and beliefs and their ability to shape history. But what really sparked the flames of this war? Could it have been avoided? As we journey through the chronicles of the American Civil War, we'll seek to answer these questions, unraveling the intricate tapestry of a nation at war with itself. As the war ignited, battles raged across the nation. The first significant clash, the First Battle of Bull Run, took place on July 21, 1861. Here, Confederates led by General Beauregard triumphed over the Union forces, marking the harsh reality of a long and bloody conflict that lay ahead. Fast forward to September 17, 1862. The Battle of Antietam unfolded in Maryland, becoming the single bloodiest day in American military history. Union General McClellan's forces clashed with Lee's Confederate Army in a brutal day of fighting that resulted in a staggering 22,000 casualties. The following year, in early July, the tide turned at the Battle of Gettysburg. Over 3 grueling days, Union forces under General Meade stood their ground against a massive Confederate assault led by General Lee. This battle, often regarded as the turning point of the Civil War, resulted in a significant Union victory, but at a devastating cost, with over 51,000 casualties. Simultaneously, another crucial battle was taking place further west at Vicksburg, Mississippi. The Siege of Vicksburg, from May 18th to July 4th, 1863, pitted Union forces led by General Grant against the Confederate stronghold. The Union's victory here, coupled with the triumph at Gettysburg, marked a major shift in the war, giving the North control of the Mississippi River and splitting the Confederacy in 2. Each of these battles, in their own right, were pivotal moments in the American Civil War. They were instances of strategic brilliance, grave miscalculations, tremendous courage, and unspeakable horror. They shaped the course of the conflict and, in turn, the course of American history. In the face of such carnage, the question arises, what was the cost of this war? The toll of the Civil War was immense, and not just in terms of lives lost. The human cost of the war was staggering. Over 620,000 soldiers paid the ultimate price for their beliefs, their lives becoming a testament to the devastating impact of this conflict. It's a number that's hard to fathom, a sea of faces and stories lost in the brutal tide of war. But the cost of the Civil War wasn't just measured in human lives. The economic impact was equally profound. By some estimates, the war cost a staggering $6.6 billion in 1860 values. That's a financial burden that would have been felt by every citizen, every household, and every business. Yet amid these grim figures, there were significant outcomes. The Emancipation Proclamation, signed into law on the first day of January 1863, was a landmark event. It signaled the beginning of the end for slavery, a practice that had been a contentious issue since the nation's founding. This momentous decree changed the course of the war and the nation, setting the stage for the 13th Amendment and the abolition of slavery. Yet despite the heavy costs, the war eventually came to an end. And in its wake, it left a nation forever changed, a landscape scarred but ready to heal, and a people determined to forge a brighter, more equitable future. Finally, on April 9, 1865, Confederate General Robert E. Lee surrendered at Appomattox Court House. This marked the end of the brutal and complex American Civil War, a war that had pitted brother against brother, state against state, and ideology against ideology, was finally over. Yet the end of the war did not mean the end of conflict. Just 5 days later, a tragedy struck the nation. President Abraham Lincoln, the man who had led the nation through its bloodiest war, was assassinated. His death sent shockwaves through a country already reeling from the horrors of war. But even in the face of such adversity, the nation began to pick up the pieces. The Reconstruction era, spanning 12 years from 1865 to 1877, was a period of rebuilding and healing. It was a time of significant political and social change, as the country grappled with the challenges of reintegrating the southern states and establishing rights for former slaves. Yet it was also a time of hope. Despite the difficulties, the nation slowly began to rebuild itself, striving towards a more unified and equal society. The end of the war marked not just the end of a conflict, but the beginning of a new chapter in American history. So the American Civil War, a defining moment in the nation's history, ended, but its echoes can still be heard today.